Hey, so I recently worked on a technique named instancing in my OpenGL framework, and it helped me in improving the performance of the application to a huge extent. In this video, I'll try to explain a bit about what is instancing and will also show what kind of performance gain am I getting after using it. Instancing refers to the process of rendering multiple copies of the same object in a scene, with each copy potentially having different properties such as position, orientation, scale, or color. The purpose of instancing is to optimize the rendering performance by reducing the number of draw calls needed to render a large number of similar objects. Instead of rendering each object individually with a separate draw call for each, instancing allows us to render multiple objects with a single draw call. To understand this, let us see how the mesh data for all the instantiated models is transferred from CPU to GPU. When we create multiple instances of a model and we don't use instancing, we actually send the mesh data from CPU to GPU for each of the model instance every frame. And the total number of draw calls in this case is 6 when we have 6 instances. This results in increasing the number of draw calls and a drop in performance. Instead, it's a copy of the same model. What we should do is send the mesh data and the respective transforms or color for each of the model instances from CPU to GPU during the instantiation process, and tell the GPU to create instances of it using a vertex shader. This will help us in reducing the number of draw calls and get a much better performance. To show an example, I've created a 50x50 grid of instantiated models, which in total is 2500 instances. The average frame rate that we get when we render the models without instancing is 48 FPS. And now let me enable instancing and let's observe the FPS that we get after that. It is around 830 FPS. The CPU usage when we are not using instancing is 6% of all processors. And when we use instancing, it reduces to 0% of all processors. The draw calls when we are not using instancing is 2502. And when I enable instancing, the draw call is 1. So yeah, as you can see, there is a lot of performance gain when we use instancing. That is all for this video. I'm planning to make the next video on some other optimization technique like batching. Hope you found this one interesting and you got to learn something out of it. Thank you very much for watching and have a nice day.